Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inns Destination Centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
Good evening, and everyone. Thank you for joining us here on the ASTV Sports Show. I'm your host, Leo Tekeluk, again here at the Canad Inns Tavern United in Fort Garry, just off Pembina Highway, right beside Celebrations. You'll see 2 mics in front of me. I'm going to be joined by some amazing guests here later this evening. We're going to talk senior baseball, junior baseball scores and highlights as well. We're going to talk to 2 gentlemen who just came back from Europe, took care of the Canadian ball hockey team Canada West, winning the championships for the entire world. Pretty impressive stuff. We're also going to go back a little bit into June, talk about a game that took place at IG Field for both the junior and senior Mustangs programs here in the women's football. We have 2 ladies from the junior program that are going to join us and talk about the wonderful hardware they took home with them at the end of June. Throw in some rugby, throw in some more baseball, throw in some lacrosse. It's going to be a packed show. We want to thank you very much for joining us here at the Canad Inns Tavern United on Pembina Highway. We'll be right back with some junior and senior baseball scores here on the ASTV Sports Show.
If you take the first mortgage you're offered, a high interest rate could take your travel budget and send it packing. Before you choose a mortgage, take a second look. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Case Financial Group today. If you take the biggest mortgage you can get, you might find your budget can't support other important costs, like buying furniture. Don't let your mortgage weigh you down. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Case Financial Group today.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inns Destination Centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
Want a career in the salon industry but have no experience? Aveda Institute's program is designed to provide aspiring stylists with the solid technical foundations and business tools to achieve your success. With our in-house store and salon, knowledgeable educators, 95% placement, and our 9-month course, we will have you prepared for the demands of the industry. Now accepting applications for our January class, Aveda Institute Winnipeg, Hair School, the way it should be. See us today.
Back here on the ASTV Sports Show. Like I said and like I mentioned, joined by some wonderful guests, which we'll get to in a minute. Braden likes the Legionnaires, but I'm a big Elmwood Giants fan, not showing any favoritism or nothing. But they are in first place, showing 17-3 records so far in the MJBL. We have 3 teams, including your Legionnaires, Braden, at 12-10. That includes Altona, St. B, and St. James. And then rounding out the bottom 3 is Pembina Valley, Carillon, and in the Interlake Blue Jays with 5 wins. Elmwood did win both their games this weekend, 7-2 over St. B, and then 8-2 against the Interlake Blue Jays, whereas St. Boniface defeated St. James 4-3, and the Pembina Valley took on the Interlake Blue Jays yet again and beating them 5-1. So Interlake did not come away with a victory this week. However, better things are on the horizon for those Blue Jays. As for the border baseball, the Mound Pilots are sitting in number 1 spot with an 11-2 record. Morden 10-3, Winkler 8-5, Cartwright 5-4, and Boulder's got it finished out 6-6. As mentioned, we're going to switch from baseball to ball hockey, my second favorite sport. Joining me is Jeff Jakowitz,
Yeah, good enough. Yeah.
and Braden McKay. Now, Jeff, you're the technical director of ball hockey. Explain to me what that role does here in Manitoba and how you fulfill it.
Basically, more of the development of coaching, acquiring events, hosting events, just organizing leagues and the association in general.
So how does the association and the leagues work here in Manitoba? What does the season concur and start, finish,
It's
that kind
mostly
of stuff?
spring, summer.
Okay.
We have basically our main league runs out of Winnipeg, and then we have a winter league as well. But then we have the Manitoba Minor Ball Hockey League, which is about 8-9 years old now, that has developed about 1,000 participants. That's where our junior players are coming from.
Okay, so junior players are ages from...
The junior players are everywhere from U15 all the way up to U20, depending on what they're playing Canadian or they're playing for Manitoba, because they
Okay.
alternate years. So they go even number years for international stuff and then odd number years for national stuff.
So then the seniors is over the age of 20 or 21?
Yeah, seniors.
Okay.
Well, you could be anywhere over 18. But,
So
yeah.
let's talk, Braden. This team, the Canada West versus Canada East in the final. Why such a dominance in ball hockey in the Worlds when it's supposed to be a global event?
Normally, it's a lot more even than it was. This was definitely a weaker year for the Slovaks and Czechs, as they normally have a lot more talented teams there. But I mean, the Slovaks, they gave us a good fight in the first game. We only beat them 3-2, and then the Czechs, we just kind of got lucky that we played them last game of the round robin when it was set already, that it was Canada East, Canada West, so I don't really think we got their best effort. But I mean, if you watch the third place game between the Czechs and Slovaks, it was a very good ball hockey game.
Pretty heated event. So the 4 teams were the teams involved?
No, there was also a U15 Czech Republic team and Great Britain.
So we had 6 teams in total.
Yeah.
All the players from the Canada West team were from Manitoba, correct?
No, just 7 of the 22 players.
Oh, 7 of the 20. Oh, so
7
there's a
of the
larger
20.
roster, okay.
Yeah.
And there's 5, so it's typical same rules
Hockey.
as regular
Yeah.
hockey?
Yeah.
Except you're using one of those orange whipper balls?
Yep.
Although those things hurt.
They do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's like worse than getting a paintball.
Easily.
Well, maybe worse than a puck.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Because
At times.
most guys can shoot that ball a lot harder than most people will shoot a puck. So.
how fast have you seen a ball go? Do you have like a speedometer you can roll on there?
I've seen it 125 miles an hour.
Wow.
Like actually recorded.
I just play defense just down in the middle of Winnipeg here once in a while, and when I let that ball go, it curves. Like it gets a good 8-10 feet movement on it, and goalies hate that from far distances, I'm sure.
No, there's a couple guys just in our men's league who the goalies will like specifically ask, like, don't let them shoot from outside the blue line, because the balls start moving on them and it's almost impossible to save.
Absolutely. So what's the gear for a goalie? The same kind of gear
Exactly.
for a goaltender?
Exact same.
Okay. What do they wear for footwear?
Just regular runners.
regular runner shoes.
Regular runners, no
Including the
steel
goalies,
toes,
yeah.
no nothing?
No steel toes. Actually, they're illegal.
They're illegal?
Yeah.
So you can't keep protection on your feet when you play ball hockey. Wow. Okay, so 7 of the 22 boys, all 7 play or have been drafted to WHL teams.
Yes. Yeah,
Pretty
we
impressive.
We actually had, I believe it was 12 of the 22 players are WHL draft picks.
Wow.
So we had a pretty talented team.
Okay, so
going out
Braden,
there with.
your role, I think, is a little more than equipment manager,
Yeah.
really. Like, what else do you do for
I
this
was
team?
helping out whatever way I could with like scouting opposing teams and helping out on the penalty kills with Paul and Jeff when they needed it. And yeah, it was just kind of the balance between coach and being just one of the guys with the other players.
No doubt. So you did the scouting, you got the team ready on and off the ice. How impressive is it the fact that almost every award went to Canada West in that tournament? I mean, I looked over the list and I
Yeah,
was
straight
like,
to
all of Manitoba.
Manitoba,
I mean,
actually,
the top player, the top scorer, the sportsmanship,
forwards,
the
top
guy that had
team.
the uniform on the best. Everyone basically from Manitoba got an award plus the championship.
It was actually pretty funny because they, when they were giving out the awards, the reason they stopped going Canada West in the middle and went to a couple of the one of the Slovak kids was just because it was starting to seem like a Canada West themed award. So they like cut the awards in half, gave one to the Slovaks, and went back to Canada West.
Rightfully so, because
Yeah.
the boys played so well. I mean, 30 goals for, only 10 against.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive over the entire, and they were undefeated, correct?
Yeah, undefeated.
So, I mean, it goes to show the proof is in the pudding. Manitoba is a pretty good hotbed when it comes to ball hockey.
Yes. Big time.
So let's move forward. What's next for ball hockey Manitoba? Are we looking forward to some events that might be local, perhaps, Jeff?
We're hoping to host Junior Nationals next year. We're pretty much, I'd say about 90% at this point going to host it. I don't want to jinx it. Something's got to happen before we get it. And we've actually put a bid in on the World Men's and Women's Championships, which is actually a significant size event. And we bid on Brandon, Manitoba getting it actually.
Right on.
Going back to some things about the development of it, Paul Cassis was the coach. He's a Manitoba guy, and he's actually a big part of why we have so many good players, his recruitment and his development of our whole system, our youth system, getting all the coaches and helping get the coaches and all that stuff, and has been huge, absolutely huge. Those Western Hockey League kids coming, big part of that is Paul.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think there was 3 of the kids that Paul, from that 7 that we brought to ball hockey, Paul had known 2 of them before, just because he used to work at a skating, like a hockey skating place. Okay. And yeah, he knew them, kind of like tossed out feelers, and then next thing you know, those 2 kids came out, they enjoyed it, and then they just kind of started bringing their friends out. And I mean, it's a talent. I won't say it's normal for a province to have that many kids that are that talented going out there, but I mean, we just got lucky.
What's the cost for a player to be involved in ball hockey and travel to worlds like this in Europe? Is it pretty extravagant? Well, like how do you fund
play locally? You're looking at it's actually really cheap locally.
Ball hockey is a lot cheaper compared to hockey.
It's about $200 to $250 for a season locally, but internationally, what the kids are paying probably about $2,000.
Yeah. So the kids themselves have to fundraise and take care of that foot.
Well, MBHA gives a bit. Like we put money towards anybody who makes an international team. So they get. We used to get a lot of funding cutbacks with sport, so it hasn't been great. But I think we pretty much go to about $500 a kid if we can. Okay. We try to budget, and that's not just kids. We do the adults too if they make a Team Canada.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we've got Canada West, Canada East, junior program, national program, all hoping to happen here in Winnipeg next year.
So yeah, next year would be U15, U17, and U19 boys.
Okay.
And U19 girls.
Awesome.
National championship.
Right.
Which hopefully you see all those guys that were on Team Canada this year will all be on Team Manitoba next year. I guess next year they'd probably be playing in the some maybe U17, maybe U19.
Maybe U19.
Some of them U19 depending on their age, right?
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you two gentlemen for joining me very much, enlightening us on ball hockey. It's not just played on the streets anymore. No. It's played in the rinks. It's taken very seriously. And you know what? That's fantastic news. Well done for the team. Braden, Jeff, thanks for joining me. Up next is going to be Lisa Thomas and the St. Vital Mustangs Junior Ladies football team. They've got some hardware to share with us. We'll be right back right after this on the ASTV Sports Show.
At Super 8 Winnipeg West, we have your comfort in mind with free Wi-Fi and free daily Superstart breakfast. We also have guest laundry facilities, a state-of-the-art fitness center, and a jetted hot tub. Sleep well in a spacious guest room equipped with plush new bedding, a 50-inch flat-screen HD TV, microwave, mini refrigerator, and Keurig coffee maker. Or book a suite with a kitchen, ideal for extended stays. Super 8 Winnipeg West, located just inside the perimeter on Portage Avenue.
Back here on the ASTV Sports Show, joined now by the champion St. Vital Mustangs. To my left, your right, is Chloe Spencer-Nairn, who plays defense. What position do you play?
Defensive linebacker.
Defensive linebacker. So you like putting the pain on the quarterback and letting the ambulance sort him out. Is that right?
Yep.
All right. And to my right, your left, is Madison Dara. She plays on the offense. What position do you play?
Quarterback.
She's the quarterback. So you're the one that has to run away from her during practice.
Yes.
Okay, so right on. And Lisa, thank you for bringing these champions with us. What type of hardware is in front of me? I don't deserve to be in front of this, but what do we got here?
Well, this is our Junior Girls Championship trophy for the MGFA Junior Girls level, and that's just the medal that we got. So.
And this game took place late June on a Wednesday.
Yep.
Investors Group Field. Is that the first time both of you have played at IG Field?
Yes.
How exciting was it?
Very exciting, but also very nervous.
Very nervous? You walk into an empty room, or is the fact that there could be thousands of people watching you? Both?
Both.
Both? Okay.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I played, I was 8 years old, and I was completely in the same boat. Very nervous, made terrible tackles. I don't think I made a single tackle the entire game, but we still won nonetheless. But I should good. So, quarterback.
Yeah.
How did you control the offense during the championship game against the Eagles, and what gave you that step ahead of them?
I think just communicating with all the team members on the offense, just making sure they're in check, knowing what they're supposed to do and when they're supposed to do it, it's important.
Okay, and Chloe, yourself, how were you able to control the Eagles' offense so they couldn't put up the points?
I think just using everything we learned at practice, just making sure we all knew what we were supposed to do, not giving up, just not letting up, and keeping playing like we always do.
Right on. So, Chloe, how many years have you played football organized?
I have played 5 years for the junior team.
For the junior team, and it's all been on the defensive side, or?
No, my first year was in O-lineman.
O-lineman, okay. And Madison, your same question for you. How many years have you been playing football?
3 years.
3 years?
Yes.
And you've been throwing the ball since you were how old?
From the ball?
Yeah.
Probably, I started 5 years ago throwing.
Okay. Do you find it hard to throw a football?
No.
Weird
Not when
weird shape?
Kind of. But when you get the technique down and get used to it, it becomes easier.
Are you a right-handed thrower or a left-handed thrower?
Right-handed.
Okay. I'm a left-handed thrower, and I've always been told that the spin of the ball is very different coming from a left-hander than a right-hander.
Yes.
Okay. So do your receivers enjoy the fact that you're a right-handed thrower?
I think so. I think it's easier for them to go places so I can throw it to them.
Okay. What's your favorite play to call? What's the favorite play you like to run?
Clemson.
Okay, explain that.
Well, there's the wide receiver, running back runs a 5-and-out route, and the slot back takes the handoff that way. And I just throw it to the slot back. It gets them on the time.
Okay, so wide field, lots of room to run, lots of cheering.
Yes.
Okay, how do you stop this play, Chloe?
Well,
You can't stack everyone on one side of the field, obviously, but
I mean, our D coaches have been a big help. They just kind of always get that feeling of which play to call. They trust us to know our positions, to know how to adjust.
Okay, very cool. Lisa, tell me obviously it's the junior program. Both these wonderful ladies age out of the junior program and move into the senior program. Is that normally the progression for the junior program into the senior?
Yeah, the junior right now is age 10 to 13, and then senior is 14 to 17, so they can go play another 4 years at senior.
Right on. And where's home field?
St. Thomas Mustangs for us.
Awesome. So pretty close. How do you see the development of the junior program into the senior program? Do you see more fine-tuning in the technique of the play, becoming more elaborate, or do you see it a very similar play from the junior to the senior level?
No, I think they'll be more elaborate at the senior level. The junior level is a development, get to know the sport. I mean, these girls have been playing for a few years, so they're very, they know the sport very well. They know their positions well, and they're totally ready to move up and take on the senior level. But I think we have a lot of new players from year to year, lots of people trying it out, and trying it out and not liking it, so some go, some stay, and so it's a very developmental league, whereas the senior league, a lot of those girls have played for a few years.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a question that maybe pertains to some more events off the field. How does football help with your confidence off the field? In terms of your friends, how you handle situations out of life?
It definitely boosts my confidence just knowing that when I'm on the football field, I'm kind of in control somewhat for what I'm doing.
Okay.
So.
And yourself, Madison?
Not a lot of girls at my school play football, so it seems really empowering and gives me confidence that I'm like different from them.
Okay.
Yeah, I play football.
So are both of you going to move up next year?
Yes.
You looking forward to it?
Yeah.
It's kind of like high school when you become like the lower one in the senior level. You got to work your way back up.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you like being the veterans this year on the team?
It was really fun because you get to like talk to the younger people on the team and see what they think about football.
And yourself?
Yeah, it's really fun to motivate them and just to know that some of them probably look up to the veterans, if it's their first year. And just, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to finish it off with this. You are now the veterans moving into the next level. What do you tell the senior class of your junior team next year to give them that rah-rah for next year? What do you tell them?
Just to never give up. Just even if there's some hard times, just keep going.
Yeah. Be good at what you do. Be confident in what you play. Yeah.
Okay, one more last question. Sorry. Why did you choose number 36?
Well, one of my D coaches is number 36, so I was like, okay, and he kind of wanted me to have it. But also my sister was number 36 when she played. So.
And yourself, number 19.
Last year's quarterback, her name was Marin, and she had number 19, and I was quarterback this year, so I wanted to kind of move into her spot with her number. Yeah.
Very good. Wow. Chloe, Maddie, Lisa, thank you much for joining us. I love the trophy. I think it's awesome. We'll be right back with Mr. Mark Bagan from Manitoba Lacrosse. We'll talk some more lacrosse action in July and how we're finishing up the season when we come back on the ASTV Sports Show.
If you take the first mortgage you're offered, a high interest rate could take your travel budget and send it packing. Before you choose a mortgage, take a second look. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Case Financial Group today. If you take the biggest mortgage you can get, you might find your budget can't support other important costs, like buying furniture. Don't let your mortgage weigh you down. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Case Financial Group today.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inns Destination Centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
Theo Tutkaluk here back on the ASTV Sports Show down at the Canad Inns on Pembina Highway. Beautiful area here. Tavern United right beside Celebrations. Joining me now, so far he's 2-0 for dressing better than I am, Mark Began, Vice President of Manitoba Lacrosse, Head Coach Bantam Lacrosse. We're going to talk a little lacrosse, a little sticks, a little bit of harder balls, not ball hockey balls, a little harder. How you doing today, Mark?
Not bad.
Right on, buddy. I mentioned balls twice in the first sentence.
Here we go.
Here we go. That's right. So we've got lots of balls. We've got some high school scores to cover real quick. Why don't you start and explain what happened?
Yeah, just a couple of results that happened at our high school field just recently. A couple weeks ago, we had our finals for cities and provincials. So Toulon, outside of the city, took the Division III championship for cities. Leo Remillard took the Division II championship. Westwood won the Division I championship. And Sturgeon Heights won our provincials. So congratulations to all the teams. Fantastic. And Winnipeg High School Lacrosse League is growing. We're up to well over 20 teams, 3 divisions, and the future is very bright.
So when you talk about growing, is in terms of participants, schools, or both?
Absolutely both. Yeah, the numbers are going crazy. In fact, we had an inclusion of a new team. Peguis First Nation also joined us this year too. And teams like Toulon, who started up a little while ago, and now they're winning championships out of their division. It's spreading. It's becoming more and more popular.
It was actually about a month ago. We were in Stonewall and we talked to one of the phys ed program directors at Toulon, and he talked about how that program first developed as an interest from himself being one of the principals at the school and bringing the lacrosse program into the school. Do you see that as something being a potential where a group of students in a high school might say, hey, Mr. Phys Ed guy, I would love to bring lacrosse as part of our program. How do we do this? And how does Lacrosse Manitoba get involved and get in a proposition like that?
Yeah, that's exactly how it happens. So you get a core of players who probably play box lacrosse or Team Manitoba, and or some motivated parents, and they decide, let's try this out. And then they fill out the roster with other athletes, football, hockey. Hockey's a natural crossover. Same with football to a certain extent. And then from there, you would contact the Manitoba High School Field Lacrosse League, and they would set you up with all the needs, or all you need to get there. So it's actually fairly simple. You do have to get in the communication and get it ahead of time. Last minute's not going to work really well. But needless to say, the vehicle's there to get it done.
Yeah, I can say the same thing about that with my son's school, where we had a bunch of grade 4s and 5s actually donate about 20 lacrosse sticks to the school. And we have an outdoor rink that we haven't put ice in, but nonetheless, I'll stop talking about that. But the boys during recess would bring their lacrosse sticks out and start teaching the younger kids how to play. So it's a fantastic sport. It's very inexpensive to get involved. Yeah. Basically a stick and a ball and a little bit of a protective gear, and you're good to go. So that's enough said. Youth First Lacrosse. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, another event just happened just recently at the Forks. Don Jacks runs a program called Youth First Lacrosse. What this is it brings lacrosse to primarily Aboriginal and First Nation and Indigenous communities. So he'll set you up with everything to get it going, plus give proper instruction. But just this past Canada Day at the Forks, behind the Human Rights Museum, they had what they call a Two Rivers Cup, which had Canoe School from Roseau River, Long Plain School from Long Plain First Nations, and École Martha Megan School from Portage la Prairie participate. It's a hybrid rules, a little bit different, a little bit modified, but needless to say, congratulations to Portage la Prairie and École Arthur Megan for taking down the Two Rivers Cup.
So it's first inaugural time this
Second year.
Second year. So how many? So we had 3 teams. Pretty impressive. They were playing field or box?
It's a field. But it's a little bit modified.
Okay, you said it was
to fit the field.
Okay.
Because they're also learning inside gyms and stuff like that.
Right.
But sticks in hands, that's what's important.
Perfect. Okay, so great to see that potentially happening next July 1st as well at the Forks.
Yep.
Good job.
Absolutely.
Great job, Don Jacks. Love it. Now, let's talk about provincial teams. Let's get on to the up and training for this team, because they're playing in August, right?
Yep. So once again, we have the 3 box teams, which is indoor lacrosse, have now solidified their rosters, and we're heading off to Port Coquitlam in BC, August 18th to the 25th, with gameplay the 20th to the 24th. So that's up and running. Right now, we're working hard on U15 tryouts also. Hopefully we have a team for that, and it'll be exciting.
Right on. So that's in Port Coquitlam, BC.
Yep.
A week-long event. Great to see Team Canada, or see Team Manitoba.
Yep.
They're playing Saskatchewan, Alberta, and BC.
This year, well, in Bantam, I didn't really check the schedule over for the other two age groups, but I know for sure at Bantam that we have got BC, Ontario, First Nations, which is essentially Iroquois, so it's actually out of the east. They get represented just
That's
like
very
every
cool.
other nation. Yeah. Saskatchewan, Nova Scotia, and ourselves are in our tier. But Alberta could be hiding in there in midget or PB. You never know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So look forward to that schedule coming up closer to the beginning of August.
Yeah.
I know some of those teams will be popping up online as well. So
Absolutely.
closer to home, the week before the Founders Cup. Very exciting to happen in Maples. Some of the best lacrosse in Manitoba.
Yeah, oh, for sure, if not Canada. So what it is, it's our Junior B National Championship. It's called Founders Cup. So we get teams from all over Canada representing coast to coast, and even possibly sometimes from that Iroquois Nation, which borders over in the United States, arriving too. That's going to be August 12th to the 5th or to the 18th at Maples Complex. Hopefully, we'll see everyone out there. It's going to be really exciting, really fast across.
Beautiful facility.
Yes.
And you're going to see a lot of hard hits, fast balls, great goaltending saves. I mean, it's impressive to watch this sport with a lot of great talent. I mean, I was a part of it back in the day when I was down in California, like we talked earlier. But I'm saying this, if you have a chance to come check this out at Maples, it's a week you do not want to miss. It's going to be
impressive.
fun.
Absolutely.
You're going to be there, maybe?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Right on, of course. Well, Mark, we'll talk about dress attire maybe next time we get you on the show. I want to thank you very much for joining me here.
Sounds good.
And we look forward to hearing some more stuff at the beginning of August. We'll kind of remind everyone of the events that are coming up. Is there anything else you want to go over real quick?
Yeah, just one thing, and paying homage to Box Lacrosse, Red River Lacrosse Association. That's our local indoor league. We're just finishing up the results as of July 7th. Needless to say, in our novice division, our Wizards is undefeated, so novice is 8 and 9 years old, followed up by the Sidewinders 1 and Shamrocks. Then the PBA division has Sidewinders up on top, followed by Griffins, Shamrocks, and Ojibwe's having a tough developmental year, but needless to say, they're going to come around for sure.
Participation is key there.
Absolutely.
Getting young kids involved in a sport like this is awesome.
Yep.
Carry on.
Yeah, and then the PBB division, which is fairly large. We've got 7 teams in there right now. It's all the future of lacrosse is hiding in there. You got the Falcons, Sidewinders 2, and Sidewinders 1. That's 1, 2, 3 on top of the standings right now. And then heading into Bantam A, these are some of the great players too. Awesome. Sidewinders A is leading the pack away with the Shamrocks, Griffins, and then Ojibwe is also having another developmental year. They're trying really hard to show up. And then Bantam B, it's a little bit different this year. We've got 4 teams, but 2 teams from Shamrocks and Sidewinders. And the Shamrocks seem to be 1 and 2 in the league right now, followed up by Sidewinders 2. And then finally our 17U, which is our midget age, which is very exciting lacrosse. These are the guys that go up. They've got futures in it, and it's really, really fast-paced. Sidewinders are doing quite a number on the league right now, at undefeated 11-0 as of today. Ojibwe is second, 9 and 5. Falcons are 5 and 7. Shamrocks are 4 and 8, and the Griffins are following up the pack, 1 and 10. But needless to say, that's some also great action. Our playoffs are starting next week. Being held at Keith Bodley, Notre Dame Arena, Maples, and Garson.
Garson, Manitoba.
Yeah, the little guys will be out there.
Perfect. Now, these divisions and all these teams, are they done based on geography, or are they club teams? How does that work? I mean, I hear Sidewinders, I hear Griffins, I hear Shamrocks. Those are the big predominant programs, but is it a geographical choice on where these players play?
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought that up because last time I messed it up.
Okay, let's
so
fix
I got
it.
some
Let's
redemption
fix
here.
Redemption time.
All right, so what we have out of the west side of the city, so that big area of River Heights, St. James, Charleswood, mainly predominant by that's the Shamrock side. Okay. The south side of the city, which has Fort Garry, Fort Richmond, and everything south essentially, that's Sidewinders. The east side of the city is Griffins, and that's like Transcona, which is pretty much, the whole east side of the city.
Pretty much east side.
Yeah. And then the north side of the city is the Falcons. But then we have the Wizards, which is out of Garson and kind of represents Selkirk area, Beausejour area.
The Insular kind of thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
right in that area. And then Ojibwe, which is Saugeen First Nation. The Ojibwe Nationals have their team as well, and they're awesome.
So Manitoba is well represented by a lot of great areas and great chances to get these youngsters involved in lacrosse. So I'm glad we fixed that up.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Thanks,
man.
I mean, it's important because how do youngsters, when does the season start? How do they begin to register? That's probably the last question I want to talk about before we end the season and work into the next season, because
that's fair.
How do you get registered into programs like this? I mean, my little guy's going to be 8 next year. Where would he sign up? How would he sign up?
Yeah, you go on and hit the local websites for the Shamrocks, Wizards, Falcons, Sidewinders, and Ojibwe. It's a lot of registration online. You can also reach out to the Red River Lacrosse Association or the Manitoba Lacrosse Association for more information to get there. Registration usually starts, we like to open it up around January, and then camps come in as soon as ice is off the arenas. Camps happen. It's about 3 weeks of training, selection, and then we're off running in April.
Boom, done. There it is.
Yep.
Fabulous. And it runs great with the hockey season as well. So when hockey's done, lacrosse can start.
Absolutely.
Mark Bagan, thanks for joining us here. Manitoba Lacrosse, Red River Lacrosse Association, and head coach of the Bantam team that's going to be heading out west to Port Coquitlam, BC. Don't say that 5 times fast, Mark.
Won't.
Okay, up next, after a quick break, Andrea Cates is going to join us and talk about a great program to get young females involved into sports and introduce them to sports they may not have an opportunity for. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
If you take the first mortgage you're offered, a high interest rate could take your travel budget and send it packing. Before you choose a mortgage, take a second look. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Case Financial Group today. If you
Want a career in the salon industry but have no experience? Aveda Institute's program is designed to provide aspiring stylists with the solid technical foundations and business tools to achieve your success. With our in-house store and salon, knowledgeable educators, 95% placement, and our 9-month course, we will have you prepared for the demands of the industry. Now accepting applications for our January class, Aveda Institute Winnipeg, Hair School, the way it should be. See us today.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inns Destination Centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
If you take the first mortgage you're offered, a high interest rate could take your travel budget and send it packing. Before you choose a mortgage, take a second look. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Case Financial Group today. If you take the biggest mortgage you can get, you might find your budget can't support other important costs, like buying furniture. Don't let your mortgage weigh you down. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Case Financial Group today.
Back here on ASTV Sports Show with Theo Tutkaluk. Joining me now, Andrea Cates.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Well, thank you
Good.
for joining us. Unfortunately, Allison couldn't join us. Got a family to take care of. Of course, that's very important. Let's talk about the importance of getting sport involved in a female's world.
Absolutely. So in Canada, girls are 6 times more likely to drop out of sport than boys are by the age of 15. So we want to do things in our city to help increase that sport participation. If by the age of 10 a girl is not involved in sport, she has less than a 10% chance of being an active adult. So there's a host of issues that comes along with that. So we really want to get started when they're young and get them involved.
Absolutely. So your background in athletics and sport began when, and how did this brainchild become?
For sure. So both my sister and I, her name's Allie, we were both athletes growing up. So I was in martial arts and she was in synchronized swimming. So we were national and international level athletes. And we started when we were really young. Like we necessarily didn't grab that sport right away, but we started, playing soccer or swimming when we were about 6 years old. And we learned so much from being athletes. So you learn how to win, how to lose, how to be a team player, time management, so all sorts of different things. So we want to do what we do because we want to give that opportunity to more girls in Winnipeg.
So tell me what the program is. Tell me how you're able to select only 20 individuals. I mean, is there a lot more than 20 that want to be a part of this program?
Absolutely. So the program that we're doing starting actually this Wednesday is specifically for newcomer girls to Canada, ages 8 to 15. So what we're doing is we're doing a 3-part series over the summer where they can come for a couple of hours completely free of cost, and we're also taking care of all the transportation, all of the equipment. So they just have to show up, try some sports, have some fun. Why only 20? Because everything costs money from our sponsors. So Playing for a Purpose Foundation, they have given us a grant to put this series of events on throughout the summer. And so we capped it at about 20 people so we can have a really great experience for all of them.
So what sports are they going to potentially be introduced in over the next couple of weeks here?
So we're doing artistic swimming, which is now, or used to be synchronized swimming. So we're doing that twice just because it's a large learning curve with that one. Sure. We're doing a hip-hop class, a yoga class, a kickboxing class, and a jazz dance class. So how we chose those sports, we actually met with a group of younger new immigrant girls to Winnipeg, and we asked them what kind of sports they'd be interested in. You know, they've maybe tried a few things already in the programs that they're in, or things at school, but let's try something different that they maybe wouldn't usually get exposed to.
And it's sports that are mostly participation. It's not necessarily about the number or the amount of equipment that's needed for them. So it's a sport that could be easily picked up and something as an activity that could be enjoyed, correct?
Absolutely. And we're going to leave them with some equipment too. So with the yoga, for example, they'll take home a yoga mat. With the synchronized swimming, some of the girls we've ordered some burkinis for them.
Very cool.
Nose clips, because that's something you need, of course, for that kind of thing. So we're going to do as much as we can so that they're not just left at the end with nothing. We really want to make sure that they have a good amount of resources and things to do after that as well.
Now, is this a group of 20 that gets to participate in all these different classes, or is it a different group of 20?
Same group of girls
Wow.
all 3 times. So that's the reason we wanted to do that is we also want to build a bit of a sense of community. So it might be a good opportunity for girls to meet some new girls that are like-minded that they wouldn't meet in their normal day-to-day throughout the summer. So this allows them to sort of meet with each other the first time and then grow those friendships throughout the summer.
I'm going to put you on the hot seat because you mentioned some very key words at the very beginning of this interview. We talked about importance of winning, importance of losing, and the importance of getting involved and seeing what sport does for you with time management. How much does sport involve, especially with females, more so than males, the idea of the image and their image when it comes to being empowered and having that self-confidence, knowing that they can actually enjoy sport and do quite well with it and actually just be involved in a part of a community, like you said?
Absolutely. So sports, time and time again, research shows that for girls specifically, it betters their overall confidence. They do better in school, and their body image is a more positive body image. So, I mean, for those reasons alone, it's a great thing for them to be involved in. It's not always about winning, but what are you going to learn from the sport while being involved?
You know what? There's always a winner and a loser, and you have to be a great loser to also be a great winner. I mean, we could talk hours and hours and hours about cheering and celebrating a goal from a certain team over the last couple of weeks, which we won't get into.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is being compassionate and passionate about the sport you're enjoying. So, 20 girls. Any other sponsors you'd like to mention about the program? Or
There's the University of Winnipeg has a newcomer sport academy that is getting involved. So we met a lot of the girls through them. They're starting a foundation in this fall, so they'll have lots of different opportunities for girls and boys. So that's definitely something you want to keep on your radar for parents. And again, Playing for a Purpose, because without them, we wouldn't be able to do the work that we're doing for them.
Sure. What is the take home after this project to be for yourself as the program director, coordinator, co-founder, but as well as for these young females and their opportunity to get involved in sport?
We would love to grow this, right? So right now it's a 3-part series over the summer for 20 girls. Our vision is to have this way bigger. Immigration is a huge part of our Winnipeg population, and we need to best support everybody involved. So obviously the parents, but the kids are a huge piece of that. So we want to do what we can. So getting sponsors like Playing for a Purpose Foundation or anybody else who's interested in being a part of that, we would love to hear from them so that we can grow this for next summer to be, whether it's weekly or just have 40 girls instead of 20 girls. So it really kind of depends what kind of other partners come on board for us to be able to grow it.
Fabulous. Is there anything else we've missed or anything else you'd like to touch on real quick?
I don't think so. I think that's about it.
Well, Andrea, I'd like to thank you very much for joining me, and good luck with the program.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing how well the girls enjoy it, and maybe see this program, like you said, grow year and year and year, and maybe something that could be done annually and over a longer period of time.
You bet.
Andrea Cates with Fit Communications, but co-founder of a great program for these immigrant females. We'll be right back with Whitetail Sports, another great initiative that looks in taking water polo and rugby together. We'll be right back after this.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inns Destination Centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
If you take the first mortgage you're offered, a high interest rate could take your travel budget and send it packing. Before you choose a mortgage, take a second look. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Case Financial Group today. If you take the biggest mortgage you can get, you might find your budget can't support other important costs, like buying furniture. Don't let your mortgage weigh you down. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Case Financial Group today.
Want a career in the salon industry but have no experience? Aveda Institute's program is designed to provide aspiring stylists with the solid technical foundations and business tools to achieve your success. With our in-house store and salon, knowledgeable educators, 95% placement, and our 9-month course, we will have you prepared for the demands of the industry. Now accepting applications for our January class, Aveda Institute Winnipeg. Hair school, the way it should be. See us today.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inns Destination Centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now.
Back on ASTV with the Sports Show with Theo Tutkaluk. Joining me now, Mr. Jones, Nick Jones, Whitetail Sports. Tell me what Whitetail Sports is.
Well, Whitetail Sports is an idea that I came up with years and years ago, and just decided to go with it. It's just me using my skills, using other skills from other coaches to take sports out there to people who might not necessarily get the chance to do it or experience that kind of sport. Just in the form of like sports camps and things like that.
Okay, so why Whitetail? Why the name Whitetail?
I wanted to have something that was kind of connected to Manitoba in some way. Obviously, I'm clearly Manitoban as it is. So
Absolutely, that would true Manitoba accent.
I wanted to try and find something that was, that was kind of neat, and you could link it to Winnipeg, Manitoba. So we went through a few ideas. We've come up with, I think we settled on black bear, but apparently the indigenous rugby in Saskatchewan now is called black bear rugby. So if we were to use rugby as one of the sports, for example, we couldn't use that because it's already gone. So
understandable.
Okay.
So we're talking about multiple sports, not just rugby.
Yep.
I noticed that we have a camp potentially coming up here involving water polo and rugby.
That's correct, yeah.
Tell us a bit about what's coming up here in the middle of July.
Well, I'm just going to do a little shameless plug here.
No shameless plugs here. It's all good plugs.
This wonderful, colourful flyer. If you see this anywhere around, have a look. Have a look at the website, whitetailsports.com. It has, again, 3 hours of water polo, then 3 hours of rugby in the afternoon. Linking two sports that have diminishing numbers. So the whole idea was I got kind of a neutral conversation with some of the organisers of, for example, we're looking with Neptune's Water Polo Club. They were kind of hoping that they might be able to pull some of the rugby players into water polo and vice versa. So that kind of idea came a couple of, like last year initially, and then the ball got rolling, and it kept rolling and rolling, and then this is what kind of came of it so far. So.
You talk about two different sports, but they have one very common ingredient, and that's fluid and flow. Rugby is a very fluid game, unlike football, where you stop and go every 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Water polo is the same way. We have very little stop and go. You have to know how to tread water, have to use all your muscles and your breathing techniques. So in that sense, rugby players should be hitting the water a whole lot more, don't you think?
Definitely. Like for fitness, if anything else. Like strength of legs, for sure. Like, I mean, I don't know why. You see a lot of wrestlers and rugby players kind of crossed over a little bit, but really that's the only sport that, you know, has crossed over as much as you think. So a lot of people don't think about water polo as an idea because it's not exactly a big sport in Canada. Swimming and water polo is probably one of the best cross-training activities you can do year-round for every sport, not just rugby. Definitely. Yeah. So what other sports have you tried to work with since Whitetail's inception? Well, we've talked with Youth First Lacrosse. A buddy of mine used to be CEO, used to be in charge of Lacrosse Manitoba.
Yeah.
So he went off and found his own company. So I reached out to him as a thought because two kind of physical sports use similar aspects, hand-eye coordination, very transferable skills. Again, trying to increase the number of players for lacrosse as well as rugby. So the idea came from that for another potential camp. So that would be that's the other one that we reached out for. Unfortunately, it didn't quite pan out this time, but there will be future camps involving that because the feedback that's come back has been very positive. So Touchwood is going to be hopefully come fall. We'll try and roll it out again and then get the numbers for the camp.
What does Whitetail Sports need from the general public, from sports enthusiasts, from people that want to join the program? What does Whitetail Sports need to get this program up and running and getting its involvement from its participants?
Well, right now, Whitetail Sports just needs word of mouth. Okay. Obviously, people know U of M and Mini U, and our idea is to kind of do a similar thing, but with my own kind of shtick for it. So just spread the word. The sports are out there. There's going to be lots of camps available, hopefully pushing into next year. Very exciting plans ahead. Lots of spaces, very manageable in terms of the fees for the camps, and you want nothing better than to get your kids active. So,
of course,
that's being a phys ed teacher myself. It's kind of, we base it around the curriculum. So we're giving them that extra knowledge, and also kind of giving them a bit of education in the process as well. That was kind of my main goal behind it.
Introduction to sports, education on sport, more full body activity, less thumb activity. Coming from a phys ed teacher, Nick Jones. Any last words? Any final words you want to talk about?
Again, we have a camp open next week. Pan Am pool, water polo, rugby. Plenty of spaces available. Check out whitetailsports.com for more information.
And it's also on Facebook. If you quickly check Whitetail Sports, you'll see that beautiful poster along all social media platforms that they have available. Nick Jones, thanks for joining me very much. Good luck with the camps.
Thanks for giving me the
time. And let's get the word of mouth out, because I think it's a great initiative for young kids to get into a lot of different programming. Thank you again.
Thanks so much.
We'll be right back with a quick wrap-up here on the ASTV Sports Show down at Canad Inns, Fort Garry.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inns Destination Centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at Canad.
Well, thank you for joining us here on the ASTV Sports Show down at Canad Inns, Fort Garry, just off Pembina Highway beside Celebrations in Canad Inns, Fort Garry. A beautiful Tavern United. Going to watch a little bit of baseball here later on. The All-Star game, the All-Star Home Run Derby should be going on later tonight. I'd like to thank everyone that joined us here and everyone that watched this evening here on all of our social media platforms. We had Lisa Thomas with a couple of the young junior females showing off their hardware they won back in late June at IG Field. We also had a couple of brand new programs from Fit Communications, Andrea Cates, as well as Nick Jones from Whitetail Sports, talking about some great initiatives for young children, both female and male, to get involved in learning and being educated in some new sports, and potentially sports that don't cost a lot of money, which is one of the number one reasons why parents don't get their kids involved, is cost. Not time, but cost. And I'd like to thank them for bringing apart these two great programs that hopefully gain some interest and spark some more involvement over the course of the next year. I'd also like to thank Jeff and Braden for joining us about the ball hockey championships in the global scenario. We will have another player, a female player, that actually won the World Championship for the ladies as well in the next couple of weeks. So look forward to that interview as well. And yes, enjoy the summer. Take care of yourselves. Get out there, be active. And thank you for watching again here on the ASTV Sports Show with your host. My name is Theo Tutkaluk. Making it great. Keep it great. Have a great one.